For decades, let's be honest, one brand has been the undisputed king of everything. Cool, culture, performance, you name it. But in 2024, something unthinkable started to happen. The giant stumbled. In this explainer, we're going to break down the absolutely shocking decline of Nike.
And that's the big question, isn't it? The one suddenly being whispered everywhere, from the trading floors on Wall Street to the most die-hard sneaker forums online. For the first time in, a generation? Nike's dominance is actually genuinely in doubt.
And look, the signs were impossible to ignore. The stock price? It took an absolute nosedive. Their slice of the market started shrinking. All of a sudden, a company that seemed totally untouchable looked, vulnerable. So what on earth happened? How did the brand that told all of us to just do it suddenly stop doing it?
To really understand this crisis, first, we've got to look at this fundamental disconnect, this huge gap that basically opened the floodgates for their rivals.
This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? For years, Nike was selling hype. They sold us limited edition collectibles, this whole image of cool. But while they were laser focused on that, the market, it quietly changed. People, real people, started caring more about comfort, about pure function, and, just feeling good in what they wear. That became way more important than flexing the latest super exclusive drop.
Now, to really get the scale of this stumble, we have to rewind. We have to remember just how high Nike was flying. This wasn't just a company. It was a straight-up cultural force of nature.
Nike built its entire empire on three massive pillars. First, they signed the absolute GOATs. We're talking Jordan, Tiger, Serena, legends. Second, they became masters of storytelling. Their commercials weren't just ads, they were like mini movies. And third, they achieved total cultural dominance, bridging the worlds of sports, music, and fashion like nobody had ever done before.
Just do it wasn't just a slogan, right? It was a global mindset. Nike wasn't really selling you shoes, they were selling you a piece of greatness, a feeling. At their peak, they weren't even competing in the market, they were the market.
And this is the pivot. This is the exact moment where the seeds of the current crisis were planted. Because when you're on top of the world, it's just so easy to think you can't fall. It becomes way too easy to stop listening.
So, what was that giant blind spot? Well, you can sum it up in three little words: the hype trap. Nike got addicted, completely addicted, to its own marketing machine.
The company's whole focus just shifted. It became this machine designed for one thing: generating buzz. More product drops, more limited runs, more celebrity collaborations. The sneaker itself became less of a tool for performance and more of a collectible. Something to be photographed and then traded online.
I mean, look at this. Nike started designing for the Instagram feed. They were optimizing for that perfect street-style photo, for that celebrity endorsement. But real users, runners, nurses on their feet for 12 hours straight, people walking miles every day, they wanted something totally different. They just wanted cushioned soles and shoes that didn't hurt. Simple as that.
And that huge disconnect, it created a massive opening. While Nike was out there chasing hype, a quiet revolution was starting, led by brands that were completely obsessed with the one thing Nike had started to forget about: comfort.
It's such a simple truth, isn't it? You can have the most powerful, most beloved brand in the entire world, but if a shoe fails at its most basic job, even your most loyal fan is going to start looking elsewhere.
And two brands, On and Hoka, exploded this opening just perfectly. You had On, with its fancy Swiss engineering, targeting wealthy professionals with this clean, understated look that kind of whispered status. And then you had Hoka, which went in the complete opposite direction, with these massive, super cushioned soles that just screamed obvious comfort. They became an absolute godsend for serious runners and, frankly, anyone with aching joints.
And this is the new marketing. It's not some billion-dollar TV ad. It's an authentic, real recommendation from a friend or even a stranger on Reddit. When people start saying a product literally saved them from pain, that's a message that cuts through all the noise. And it's a message Nike just wasn't delivering anymore.
So this quiet revolution happening on the streets and running paths, it soon sent a very, very loud signal on Wall Street. The numbers finally started to reflect reality.
Let's be really clear here. A stock drop doesn't mean Nike's going bankrupt, but what it does signal, what it screams, is that the company's incredible growth engine is sputtering. And for investors, slowing growth is a massive red flag. The king, for the very first time, looked like he was standing still.
Down 19%. That's not a blip. That is a seismic shock.
That number represents billions and billions of dollars in lost value, and a crystal clear vote of no confidence from the market. It's the price you pay for getting distracted, for falling right into that hype trap.
So, what happens now? Nike is definitely wounded, but they are far from dead. Can this giant, the very same company that taught the world how to win, learn from its own mistakes?
You know, the path forward actually seems pretty clear. They need to get back to innovating for actual performance and comfort, not just for how a shoe looks. They have to prove to serious runners that they're still the best. They need to build shoes for everyday life, not just for these big cultural moments. But most importantly, they have to start listening to their users again, not just the noisy echo chamber of hype.
So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Is this the beginning of the end for an empire? A story about a king who just plain forgot about his people? Or is this just a necessary, really painful wake-up call, the kind of stumble that forces a giant to remember what made it so great in the first place?
Because ultimately, the lesson here is incredibly simple. In today's market, cool is temporary, hype fades away. But comfort is king. And the brand that really truly understands that simple truth is the one that's going to own the future.